Hey guys, it's Diana, art by Diana Myers. You know who I am. I'm a few minutes early. Got our painting up here. I gotta put a few more paints up. But I put our paints away last week. I put them on my glass palette. I sprayed them slightly. Then stuck the saran wrap down there really tight. Most of them are still pretty good. So I think the glass and the plastic have a lot to do with it. But the glass really did pretty good. I mean, they've been here from last week. Look. Still wet, right? That's good, right? I just kind of checking out stuff that, trying to save a little paint. I got a lot of paint, but, sometimes just a pain, remember what I use. That's why it's so important to write things down. Luckily, I'm pretty good at that, but anyways, I'm going to put you up here in the thing, and we're going to get started here. I'm going to wait for a few people to show up. I am early. Here's what we're working on. Here's my paper one. There you go. 6 o'clock, right? Well, I gotta, I'm hoping I don't run over. I should have put the alarm on. The lady that does the classes from PPHQ, Heidi, she, has been switching them back and forth between 10 and 6. It used to be last year, a lot of them were at 10, 11 o'clock. And this year, she, switched them back and forth. People are complaining. But it's always a Thursday night, so it's like... So, hey, Kathy Joe. So, I gotta no later than 10 or quarter after 7 because they stopped letting them in the Zoom meeting. I had a Zoom meeting yesterday morning. She did an extra one because she's gone to get somebody else running the meeting. And luckily I got in. It was way after when I was supposed to be there. But they must have just said, just leave them open because everybody's, especially at night. I mean, a lot of us do classes at night, So anyways, most of my paints are wet. So let's give everybody a few minutes. I went and grabbed her. It's just me today. The kids are sleeping. He's going to be up in a couple hours to work. So I went to Arby's and got me a corned beef sandwich. And nothing too Irish today, just posting stuff on the thing. And I finished up my tax stuff this morning and sent everything out to her. She's trying to do this as an office, my studio, which she doesn't know if it'll work out. So I had to give her my water bill, my gas and light bill. I don't always keep it. Luckily, because the bills get so high. The last 5 or 6 months I had it. So I had, you got to separate the gas from electric. Oh, what a pain in the ass that was. And then what else did she want? I don't know. Oh, when you guys pay by PayPal, they take $1. And I don't think it's that much. And then I think it's $1.59 when I do $35 for the classes, downtown or down to the warehouse. So that came up to $23 for the whole year. So there's a little bit of a deduction there. So okay, I'll take it. So that's what I did this morning. Well, not this morning. I didn't get up till, 10:30, but I got that done. And then, it's afternoon event getting dressed. I had to wash my hair. And I couldn't wake up, so I washed my hair with ice cold water. Remember my grandmother used to say, it gets the cobwebs out of your brain. It does work. 'Cause I needed to wake up. I got to stay up during the day once in a while here. But I'm going to bed trying to go to sleep, and I can't because I need to get it my days are my days and my nights are nice. I go back to now with the weather so nice, I feel like getting up, It's really nice up today. Is it 65 there, Kathy? It's 65 here. It's beautiful. Give me a couple more minutes and we're going to start. So right at the bottom of this painting. So, let me bring this over. I might have to bring this over more. Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm going to move the painting over and the clamp. I don't really want to move the clamp because it's perfect where it is. This is an old table, so I don't want to mess with the wood. Oh, wait a minute. I don't trust that hitting that button. That's pretty good, right? Oh, we need more light. I need my light again. That's how they get broken moving them, so, the cord just gets they're so thin. for moving back and forth. I mean, I don't do much to them. So I need to get another one. I got a whole list on Amazon again. Ugh. Tell you, it is easier than shopping around, you know. I went up to that Catholic shop. Oh, the prices are stupid. You know, you want to give it to a local business, but good God. I think I'm just order something off of Amazon. I went and mailed some Happy Mail. By the time I bought the item, it cost me probably $15 to ship it. Let's go on Amazon. Free shipping. So that's what I'm going to do. See if I can get it personalized so she knows it's for me and stuff. But her mom died. It's so sad. Alright. Is that enough light? I think that's enough light. You can see that good, I hope. Alright, so we got to start... we're going to need to finish these edges. And I feel like more of the middle needs to be done. That's the way he's got it, but we can do what we want to do. I want to start the edge of this wave too. And that's going to be the Phthalo Blue, some Sap Green, and I think this is not only the ochre, but that's a little bit of like an Indian yellow, or it would be a dark cad light or a medium cad light, which is just like a yellow that's very, very deep. It's not the light yellow. All right. So I'm gonna take. Let's take a flat square brush and get a paper towel. Now I put some more white in my palette, green, that yellow. I might have to get more of this brown too. How's this brown doing? Oh no, it's got a little damp to it. That's good. Kind of give them a little spritz again. Alright, so I kind of want to go in the direction of the wave, like here, with the different colors. So I'm going to kind of take some green and yellow and kind of get that main one right here, start it like right in this area. Just kind of bring it down. Remember, it's always dark to light, so don't be afraid to add a little color, because like I said, the good thing about acrylics, I say it all the time, is they dry. Now on this same brush, I'm going to pick up some of that Phthalo. Oh, there's no Phthalo out. Okay. Gonna get some Phthalo. So use it up last time. Make sure the brush is damp, not wet, just damp. And I'm gonna kind of come in here and just start working on the shape of this. I mean, it kind of undulates, like some of the water goes this way. You got to think of that in your head. And some is being pushed up by the water, so kind of think of that whenever you're doing something. Try to, in your mind, if you can't really see it, in your mind, if you had, you know, like I tell you about really looking at things and remembering the way they go, like, you know, maybe in the coneflower, really paying attention to, like, if something goes up or down, or it's deep, dark behind, light up on top. So those things will stick to you, you know, you kind of try to remember, they'll stick in your mind. So when you go to do something, you know, I've done a bazillion flowers, so I have in my mind kind of how they look, you know. I keep it in my mind anyways. So these are more straighter right in here. I got this up too high, but that's okay. And I'm not going to try to do it totally in one color, because they're going to kind of blend this in. And there's some like white right there, so let's pick up some white. Alright, so now I want to blend this a little bit. I'm going to kind of dry the brush out a little bit. I'm going to start kind of like, before it dries, I'm going to kind of just go back and forth with it. Not worry about that part. Kind of start blending it in while it's still wet. You can even add a tad of water to it if you want to. Dry brush it, but you know, keep it wet. There's a little darkness from that blue up there. We're going to copy that, a little bit of that blue. which we made with our other colors. This is like right here, kind of, it's a little sloppier right in here. We're going to get some of that color in here right now. Pick up some blue. We're going to need to darken this, but that's okay. There's like this little island of, you can just dry the brush off a little bit and pick up a little bit of that burnt sienna. There's going to be light white over the top of it, and I'm just going to kind of make, like, put these rocks in. Oh, need some more. It's too dry. It's too dry. Wait a little bit, dab. Pick up that sienna. Just kind of blob in some rocks. Just putting base colors, just blocking them in. Looks like a little thing right here. Some right here. I think that's all you can really see. See, I left some like light behind that. Now you can pick up that Indian yellow or the light or the cad yellow, and a little more of the sienna. Kind of hit some spots here and there. I mixed it in with a little bit of the brown. Kind of, I'm gonna need a little darker brown here too, I think. It's just those little spots. All right, so we got something similar in there. Not exactly, but that's okay. A little yellow right there. Not exactly, but that's okay. Keep the bottom of the rocks dark, because more light would be on the top of the rock than underneath. If you think about it, that makes sense. I'm just putting a little yellow on here, that's all. Now I got this yellow on the brush. This one corner right here at the top of this wave, whoops, I got yellow, brown in there. It's got like a lot of yellow right here. It comes down, it dips. A little blue. So you get that nice green, green and yellow, make blue right there. I'm going to kind of drag that out a little bit. This wave kind of ends right about halfway here. It's a little higher than I thought it was, so let's bring this up a little bit. Kind of ends right in here. Kind of fades out. Now I got that toned down. What did we use? We used the blue and the burnt umber, which is some right here, to tone down. Not black. We used this, the burnt umber or raw umber, but the burnt umber has a little more of a red base. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit redder on the base. The umber would probably have been better, but I don't have any right here because it'll really neutralize any red or gold. But that's okay because it gives us a nice dark shade anyways. Gives us this shade right here. And there is some of this right around this rock right here. So I'm not worried about this. See, I'm just kind of taking this is a filbert actually, but a square brush. Kind of just going around this a little bit. There's going to be another wave right up in here, so I'm going to kind of fill that in a little bit. And there's some dark shadows in here. There's some dark shadows in this wave and over in this corner. So you're just laying in color right now, because we're going to put color and we're going to put splashes and white on the top of this. So we're doing what we call laying in color. There's going to be a little ridge of waves right here too. The beach right here is like a yellowish green. We'll get to that next. And there's like a big amount of like a roll over of the splash. So we're gonna need that. It looks like a little bit darker back in here. So I'm gonna do the blue and the burnt umber right here. So there's basically all our colors blocked in. I need some right here too. There's some that come right into here. There's like a kind of a big block of it right here. I'm going to add some blue, a little more blue to that too. Oops, I got a little too far down the beach. But that's okay, it dries, we can fix it. Mix a little bit of this in right here. A little bit of that right here. There's some over in this corner. Alright, so now we're gonna start lightening it up now. How you guys doing? Who's out? Who's here? Hey, Judy. Oh no. Oh guys, it's time of year they're all dragging their bikes out. It's dangerous. Oh, I know it. They like their bikes, so. How old's your granddaughter, Judy? Go back to that brush. Riding the bike's gotta become up there a little bit, not too young. I had a house full of mechanics. My father was a mechanic. Only like one stayed in. He has a business. One worked in auto body. He did real fancy cars. He died young. And then the other one did a little bit of electrical stuff, but now he owns different businesses. He's doing real well. But they all had bikes. We used to have all these bikes when I was a kid. Last time I was on a bike, I skinned everything I owned. My elbows, my knees, my chin, my neck, my nose. Mini bike. So I don't do them no more. But I was younger. I had brothers. Had to keep up. I know. They love it. I think they're all dangerous. All right, let me see. Did she break? She must have hurt herself pretty good. She just knocked her over. Did she break anything? The bike, you can do some damage. That bikes are heavy. My brother sprained his ankle one time. Just fell on him. You know. Just fell on him. Can you guys see that all right? I feel like there's not enough light today. Should be plenty. All right, so now I'm going to come to the top of this wave. And there's like kind of a gray too, like a gray and white. So I'm going to kind of, well, I think I might darken this up a little more dark right here. Right in here. Leave a little lightness here and there because there's still some light areas over in here. And then I'm going to make like a gray, a white. And I'm going to take that color they made for this, the brown and gray, or brown and blue, which gives me like a bluish gray. Make another little patch of it right here. Put that to the side. Then add my white. Then I'll have like kind of a gray shade, which you should. A bluish, brownish gray. And that's kind of what's in this area right here. Sometimes when you're doing something that's like a dulled white or a dulled color, a lot of times you pre-mix the color on the side, which someday is going to be a class, I've told you that. Little tricks with mixing, like the burnt umber with the blue is like very popular with a lot of artists. It's just a good way of getting a dark color where you could still use that color. Like if you had a black and you put the white and you pull it out, you get gray. But a lot of times, like when I want a certain shade, I'll pre-mix the lighter shade or the dominant shade. Then add the shade I want to it, like the blue. And like when you guys, like when we're doing, you do the blue or yellow and orange to neutralize the blue. Usually you mix that first and then mix into the blue. That's just how they do it. It works out so much better. Hey Jim, everybody's here except Deb. I think everybody's here today. Cat's here too. So I mix a little black and white. Now I mix that blue and the brown that I use for the side right here. And then I add a lot of white. So I get this like broken up wave as these different colors right here. And I'm just going to take it and I'm going to dab it in just like we do with the brush. Oh, sorry, I got itch. I'm just going to kind of take my wobbly canvas I got some of those somewhere, those, I don't know, little wedgies. I know I'm not saying it right. So I'm just going to kind of just splash in here a little bit. Like I put some dark colors in here too, but I'm just going to kind of do that. And then come along this edge here too. Rock your brush back and forth. Like this. Don't try to see how far away I am. Don't try to get like all exacting. We're going to put a few colors. We're going to go over this a few times. And then we're going to go along this edge. Chisel your edge a little bit at this point. I'm going to chisel this edge so it's a little flatter. Pick up that color again, a little extra white. Okay, just go along this edge a little bit. Streak it, pounce on it, streak it, pounce on it. It's whatever works for you. Everybody's different. You might want to do this, try doing this with a, he does, Bob Ross is not Bob Ross, but he does a lot of this with his fan brush. I was watching him the other night. He says, he's pretty damn handy with that brush, let me tell you. He's just good at it. Now, I'll probably put some splashes in here, you know. I like taking you can do it so it looks like it's closer when you do that. I don't know if you guys do that. I've ever done that. So I'm just making a small edge here right now. Maybe pull some down. Pull some down. It's got a lot of white on the end of this. Kind of just mush it in. Mush it in. Don't get too perfect with it. That's where you run into problems. Squint your eyes. Squint. Squint. Just squint. Now there's another little row of some right in here too. There's like a green underneath it. We'll get to that in a minute. That's got that funny brownish gray too right in there. Right in here, right on the top of these. So don't be afraid to put a little color in these too, because it is in there. Some of that green is in here. You're going to need to pick up right with the same brush, I would just pick up some green. Kind of come in this edge right here. It's like a dirty green. There's a little bit of that dirty green right in here too. It was fun last night doing that other painting. I kind of want to, I don't know, give it to somebody or something, do something with it. I was going to get a present from my friend. You know, I told you that runs this company that I get my stuff from, and you know, but I just went and mailed a few things through my Happy Mail. And the problem is that it is so expensive to mail stuff now. I mean, like 4 things was $40. $40. I could have bought somebody a nice present for $40. Send her flowers. So I'm just gonna do Amazon. You wonder why Amazon's doing so good, you know? If you can't ship something, forget it. Put a little green and yellow in there. Just pick up some of that color. It's like I think I've seen these really pretty wind chimes, and I got something similar. But she likes to sit out back. Her mother, they put her ashes in the ocean. So I thought it would be nice to either get her like a lantern or something for her backyard to remember her mother by. But I don't mind paying the $40, but then you gotta pay another $15, $20 for shipping. And I thought maybe they'd have something. It's a Catholic shop. It's called Sacred Melodies. They don't have that, so whatever. But I don't know why it's so expensive. The post office actually makes some money. They don't tell you that. What they don't tell you is that the government, if they didn't get their hands in there, they'd be making plenty of money. But they want to privatize it because they are making money. So now you're just kind of messing around with the colors in this. Like there's a little green right here, a little green in this water right here. And there's another smallish wave here and there. Just play a little bit. And there's like some of this dark blue. You can kind of bring in a little more blue if you want. You could bring it in straight. You could add that brown. I'm going to put more on the top here, but I kind of just am working on my colors here. Now, I like doing these waves, but I can honestly say this is not my favorite thing. I do them all the time. I prefer to do them with my palette knife. I think it's easier. You're going to get like 7 colors and spoon. But now other people I know are really good at this. They love doing them. So yours might come out better than mine. Don't be surprised. Just don't be surprised. Now I need my shoreline in here, so I'm going to go in with like yellow and white right in here. Pick up my yellow, a little white, and just a tad of that burnt umber, and I'll get like a pale yellowish color. Yellow. There's actually green in there too. I'm just going to take this yellow, a little bit of that burnt sienna, so I got a couple colors on my brush, and I'm kind of just going to drag this across, kind of make a little beach here. I like having this up higher for you guys, and my arm is killing me. Oh, old chick problems. Alright, I'm a chunky monkey. I gotta stop eating. I just can't help myself. The doctor really hasn't said too much. It's mostly me. I can beat the crap out of myself. He's like, you should. And then I'm like crying. He's rubbing my arm, handing me tissues. He was just being a man. He was just being nice. He knew. He knew. Don't say nothing mean. She's having a hard time. He was so great. Oh my God. I wasn't sure about this doctor because the last two I liked were, the last one actually I wasn't crazy about, but I learned to like her. And I like a woman doctor. I've only had a couple good male doctors, but this place keeps changing doctors. I don't know what the problem is over there. It's got to be something either about the staffing or the way they pay. I don't know what's going on. So I'm going to keep just like adding some dark shades, the brown and blue. It's still quite dark in this area, so I'm going to kind of, same thing, I'm following the waves of the water. I'm going to finish up that wave last at the top. Right now I'm trying to make it a little more translucent, not totally. There's a couple of white areas in here too, but I'm still working on the shades of this water. There's some white still. I'm going to take a small brush. I'm going to make waves. But right now we're still kind of blocking in colors right now. So just kind of look at the painting and try to, I think what happens is, I was watching this class, this one guy, is we're so afraid of painting what we see. We want it to look good every section. We want it to be perfect, especially if you're like that type of person. Type A. You can make yourself insane. And I might be a little type A, Jim. I might be. But what happens is you're looking for it to be like that, and it's not. We're doing this in layers. So you got to think about as you're building that up, that it might not look so good. It's like when I used to do a haircut. The haircut looked bad before it started looking good. And sometimes it didn't look good until I blew it out because they had bad hair. So, they only look good with a blow dry. Not everybody. Some people look good with curly hair or a nice cut without doing anything. But unfortunately, that's not true for everybody. So the same thing applies to paintings. When you're putting stuff on and you're trying to make it perfect, you're probably making more problems than you need to. So really think about, okay, this color is blue here. Put the blue there, move on. The yellow here, move on. And keep building. It's a building thing. You're layering, you're building. It's dark to light. So, and luckily, like I said, with our acrylics, you can build that color pretty good without having to worry about any colors being underneath that are going to mix. So when you're looking at something, you're trying to fix it perfect. Don't do that. They tell you to move around the whole painting. Move around, work the painting. I work from top to bottom. Some people work all over. It depends. Like with flowers, I tend to work all over. But don't keep correcting that, because chances are you're right. The dark blue there, you're right. Leave it there. And then move on to the next section. Keep working over the same area, but don't get stuck on one area. I tell you that, if you keep working on one area and you're messing, you're trying to get perfect, when you go to move to that next area, number one, you're frustrated. All right, and you move to the next area, and you're like, you know, got a whole thing going on with it, and it doesn't really blend in with the last area. So now it's not even cohesive. And now you're getting more frustrated. So do like I say, blacken the colors, start going lighter if you have to, even on your palette. Like you'll notice that sometimes I only put the white and blue in, and that's what I do. Don't start messing with the colors until you come to them. And then paint what you see, and then once in a while, kind of back off for a few minutes and think about what you're seeing and think about what you're using. It sounds stupid, but a lot of times we really overwork the painting. And you hear a lot about people making gray. That's how it happens. You're overworking. You're thinking too much. Kind of just, don't be afraid, Gotta put some twos on, I don't know, smoke a joint, have a glass of beer, whatever you gotta do. But relax, just like, don't think so hard about one certain area of the painting. Just kind of let it be, flow into it, Oh yeah, they're still here. The one's a hermit, never comes out of her room, except at night. She watches a lot of TV at night, but my sister's trying to get her a job over at, they make Cool Whip bowls and stuff. Berry Plastics Global, it's a huge company. They make all that kind of stuff. And she's home from college. She didn't like Wells College. They don't have enough physics class for her, so she's applied to Fredonia, but applied too late, so now she's thinking she's going to go in the fall. Or in the summer. So in the meantime, she's here, and she's a big help, And when she's up and at it, she's in her room a lot. She's autistic, so and very few women get it. She's extremely intelligent and has issues with, like, food. She's real thin. She only likes certain textures, and it's really hard to explain. She's a sweetheart, but not like a people person, which is typical. But she's extremely funny, but she's very dry humor. And she's here, but she would rather she makes little, where's my thing? You gotta see, I'm gonna bring her drawings out, you're not gonna believe it. It's unbelievable for a 19-year-old. Where is it? She makes these little critters. I got one she sells them on Etsy. They're like origami. She makes them. And I'm gonna bring her drawings, I'm gonna show them to you. You're not gonna believe it. But she has this where she can concentrate. Me, I'm all over the place. She's a little scattered, but I think she's definitely got some kind of other problem. She's going to go get tested again. It's autism. So she's around. You'll see her in and out. She helps me with stuff. And then Jacob, he works nights. And he games. He's a gamer. That's all he does. He games and he works. He games and he works. He games and he works. Now, he was out here earlier, and he got me a sandwich. And he put the sticker on my car. So he does stuff for me. And then sometimes I can't get him to do anything. But, he's 20. That's typical. So, yeah, they're still here with me. You don't hear them in the house because they sleep during the day. Got me all messed up, too. Yeah, I'm glad they're with me, too. Like, one went with my sister. My daughter. She lives in Rome. She's got her own apartment. Never married. And she goes up there with her. She treats them like they're her own. She bosses them around, yells at them, makes them do stuff for me, and clean the house and stuff. And she's so funny. I says, I bet you never thought you'd be raising kids without having to get them out of your womb. Because she said, she says the office is closed. Nothing down. She says, nothing's going on right here. Everything's closed. She don't want kids. So she takes her up there with her once in a while, and they hang out. She works, runs a store. And then Jacob was gone to work, and then he goes right over to my nephew's house, and they game. There's 3 guys. They all grew up together until they moved. We all draw cousins and stuff. One's a friend, and he's gone. So I was here all by myself, but I didn't like it. 2 nights it happened. I harassed my daughter. She says, you're going to come down. I don't like being alone. I grew up in a house with 10 people. And then I went from 10 people to my own family. I had, the kids. And then he was out to sea, but I had a couple of kids by then. So I never really been alone, except for then. And then, like when I moved back here, I had 2 families. I moved my mother upstairs, and she had 7 kids still. My oldest was 8. And then I had 3. So there was 10. And then my sister, and another sister, and my brother, they all had kids. We all lived right in the same neighborhood. We were like the neighborhood. You know what I mean? So I always had a ton of people with me. We do a turkey upstairs, a turkey downstairs, a ham upstairs, a ham downstairs. So he had a house full. My mom, my dad, and she had 3 pull-out couches in the dining room. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love having them here, though. Sometimes not so much when they leave a lot of messes. Sometimes not so much. All right, so we got the sections and I got it all blocked in. So I'm still working like a little bit of blues and stuff in there before it's all starting to dry out. Yes, I got the tack stuff done. I'm hoping it's all right. I think I did it all right. It's just different now the way I have to do it. So, and I think there's still a few things I'm looking at it going, I don't know. I think I put all this in. I don't know. I got to do better this year. So if anything, if they come and investigate me, they might not put enough in. Some things I wasn't too sure about. And it's like, I'm not even going to ask. I got it done. I'm okay. All right, so I'm just trying. There's a lot of light here still. There's still like a lot of white splashes and stuff. So I'm still just kind of blocking these colors in. There's going to be more white over the top. There's a little blue in here too. Like right in here, there's like this kind of bluish wave. A little too much white right here, so I'm going to kind of mix that blue and that umber again. Can't wait for my grandbaby's getting so big. Oh my God. I was looking at her the other day on the internet. I can't wait for her to come up. Well, they're going to have her birthday party down there in May, so I don't know if she's coming in April or she's going to come after that. I kind of wanted her to be up here before that, but they all took so much time off of their jobs to be here with their dad, They got good jobs. He got, my son-in-law got asked to do some kind of podcast, or not a podcast, I don't know, some like an anchor for a show to videotape it, so he had to go out and get all this equipment they wanted him to buy, and because, that's what he took was film. He was an actor. And he took pictures last time on Instagram. He's loving it. That's his thing. He likes to film. All right. He loves it. They're both into film, really, because he did film and she worked at the Little. Well, now she's at, what do they call it? She's director for, what do they call that? Oh, God. School of Tisch. Not the dean, she's just a director, one of the directors. She's actually getting another, she's in school. She's taking her finals. She's working on her second MFA, her second master's, and I think it's going to be political, mostly, from what it sounds like. My kids are very political. Oh, you don't want to bring this stuff up at dinner time. No. Well, she's Democratic, but she used to be conservative. The arguments, oh my God, the arguments. No, we don't. I don't bring that up when they're all at the house, because they're really. My youngest one too she's, oh my God, nuts, just nuts. And I have no opinions. Evidently, when you get older, you don't have opinions. Not really. I just make everybody get along. They say, I was reading this article one time about getting your children to get along with them. If you want them to be nice to you, you have to get along with them. I'm not going to agree with everything they say or do. This is what this article was about. So sometimes, as you all know, it's better off just not saying nothing, Unless it's really getting on your nerves, then But, a lot of times it's just, I don't say anything, I want to get along with my kids, That's all. That's all I want to do. So I'm still working on the colors. Now I'm seeing just a tad of white here and there, so I'm going to pull more in here. I put like a blue and white in there too, I seen. There's like a lot of blue and white right in here. There's another little set of... See, it doesn't make sense until you keep doing it. As you layer and you build, then it starts making sense. At first it's like, oh, this doesn't make any sense, right? So don't try to make it perfect. Just kind of paint what you see. You hear that a lot. If you guys ever watch any other paint shows, you'll hear that a lot. So I'm working straight in too with this brush. It's something you'll hear, like, paint what you see. Well, sometimes it's hard if you don't know what you're looking at. So it is like a big guesstimation. And you might have to put your own pitch on it, because it's just not registering. It's not working for you. Could be the brush, could be the way they angled it. In this case, we're not looking at a real painting, we're looking at paper. He might have had more texture in it, or it might be smoother. I tend to put a lot of texture in my painting, so it could be a lot of variables in there, so don't like stress out. It isn't got to be exactly. And this being somebody else's painting, I'm not sure who it is. You hope you're not. I go to that site that has all the unlicensed stuff. I'm not sure where this came from. So in the event that someone comes after me, I can say, well, I was just doing a rendition of, and I'll write that on the back. You know what I mean? Or if it's really something good and they're a really popular artist, I would ask permission first. But unless you know that artist, really sometimes it's hard to say what they did. Unless you watch them do the painting, maybe, So don't stress out if it doesn't look exactly the same. I almost expect it, Mixing that brown and blue again, a little water in there. My brush is getting a little dry. There's still some dark colors in there. I'm going to finish this up with some white. So funny. My kids are, though. They get together. Be good to have them. Again, they've had a hard time, still feeling pretty sorry for myself, I get all sad and stuff, but then I have to remember they're going through some shit too, so it's feeling pretty selfish, I guess. That's okay, but yeah. I think I need this up a little bit more. I'm going to kind of bring this up a little bit right here, and then go back and darken. You know how I felt when I lost my mother, Look, I was a lot older, but, My one grandfather was really young. He wasn't really my grandfather. He was my step-grandfather, but you couldn't tell me any different. My real father's father died. Grandfather died when my father was a kid. So I never knew him. And then the other one was off the boat, a lot older than my grandmother. But I knew him pretty good. So I was upset, but I was so young. I was like 8 or 9. But the other one, I was like 13 or 14. I took it pretty hard, And they wouldn't let me go to the funeral. They didn't let you do that back then, I mean, some people did, I guess. I talked to my mother about it. I mean, I don't know if I would do it now, 13, 13, you're so, oh God, you're a mess. I'm trying to get some more green. Now I'm seeing like greens everywhere, so we're going dark to light now, remember? So now I'm seeing these greens. I'm going to try putting the greens in. I'm seeing a little bit of light in here. Still a lot of light green right here. This whole corner right here is kind of, you can almost see through the wave. A little bit in here. A little bit of lightness right there. Let's bring some of this right over to this rock right here. It's not really there, a little bit. A little dark in this corner, so let me darken that corner up. A little bit of brown too. My kids are good though. They were here this weekend and bought stuff I needed and took me shopping. They were here. Jackie was here 3 days. So she got a lot done for me. Still looks like an awful lot right there. Let me take that down a little bit more. Grocery shopping. Got some yard work, a little bit of yard work done. We need like a good long weekend to finish up stuff. I'm gonna maybe darken this up. It still looks a little too like it's up there. Like that a little bit. Odd looking. See, I'm kind of rocking this back and forth. That looks a little better. Right now I'm going to take like a small liner brush, or if you got one, Oh, this one's so bent up. A rigger. Look how bent that is. I gotta fix it. Water and the white paint. Make yourself a little like soup here, like an ink. And I'm gonna start kind of dragging in some little, give them a little wobble here. There's quite a few, but you do what you want to do. Kind of bring some over this way. Kind of. See how long I'm holding this at the end? So you get a nice wobble on your brush. Make sure it's pretty wet so it goes on. Add some water to that paint. Not so much of this running down, like if you see water coming down this part, go like that, get some of it. Then kind of bring it up around these rocks. Now we're going to highlight on these rocks too. Kind of. See, now it's starting to make a little more sense now, right? As we add to it. When you first do it, you're like, ugh, I don't know. That's why I always hated like doing plein air in public. I love doing plein air. It's outside painting. I love it. But I don't want to be in front of nobody. Because you always got one idiot in the crowd and he waits until there's 17 people watching like, what do you call that? They don't look like a frog. It's not a frog. And it's like embarrassing and then it throws you off. And we're sensitive. You know, you're not allowed to start public fights and cuss. So, anyways, just, that's why. That's why a lot of artists are like real leery of painting in public. Because you go through these ugly stages with your paintings, you know. And sometimes it doesn't come out right and you have to go back and mess with stuff. It's just the nature of the beast. And sometimes we have to do it 3, 4, 7, 8, 9 times before it even remotely comes out close to where it's supposed to be. You know, it's just, it is what it is, you know. So you're going to go through these stages with your painting that are ugly. And you might step back and go, you know, that's not half bad. Or, you know, another little trick is take pictures. This helps. I still do it. It helps me a lot. Take a picture at this, like the stage before that. Work on a little bit, take another picture. Work on a little bit, take another picture. Work on a little bit, take another picture. Now go back and look. Sometimes it looked better if I had left it alone. And sometimes it's getting better. But it's funny how you can see things in the pictures that you're not seeing when you're standing up very close to it. And that's why I say walk away. A lot of artists, you see them standing there looking all like intelligent and they're like looking at the painting. They're looking because they know something's not right, you know. I tell you, people that don't even paint will know. They don't know what it is, but they know there's something just not quite there, you know. All right. But it starts to make sense as you go. A little more of that brown in here too. A little yellow, a little brown into that white. Mix it up, then put it into the white so you get like a golden, kind of golden white. Not yellow, not brown. Still white with a little color in it. Just like these little blobs here. Like a little short here. Actually, no one would probably see this if it was in a frame. Then this might have been in a frame, I don't know. Should give this a little wobble. Now the top of these rocks have a little bit of gold and white, so I'm going to mix a lot of gold with my rigger and some white, so I get like kind of a gold color. And I'm going to kind of over the top of these rocks a little bit. Oh, that's a little too light, I think. A little more brown. A little more brown. My brother died when he was 37. Horrible. It was the first one for us, so it really did a number on us. Even though there was so many, it's just, he was like the in-between child. It was my brother Dickie, my brother Tommy, and then him, Dennis. And the thing was that he was an alcoholic since he was younger, and we didn't realize how bad it had gotten. And he really was a non-functioning alcoholic. I mean, he redid old cars, but he had to do all. He never even had a Social Security number. He wasn't a bum, he had a girlfriend and stuff, but he couldn't hold a steady job. And he was an alcoholic. He drank Budweiser all day. He'd get up in the morning, he'd have a quart of milk in each back pocket, go work at this little corner store in the city, and start drinking. And that's just the way it was. He could be funny, but then memory lapses. He would accuse you of things. His mind was going. Well, then my poor mother, the times we sat in that hospital and he was like strapped to the bed, he was out of his mind. Oh, it's a horrible disease, the alcohol. That's why I'm not a drinker. And make a long story short, he died young. He got cancer, he got sober, but he got in the throat. He said he had a really bad sore throat. And they gave him one of those things he learned to talk with a trach, and that's when I got to know my brother, who's in his 30s now, because he was a mess. So 5 years on and off, he got better, went into remission, and he got a different type of cancer, got in his groin. Got better. Then the third year, he got in his lungs, and a fourth time, I don't know, by the time he got it the fourth time in his brain, he said, I'd had enough. Then I got mad at him because he just said, I'm not doing it anymore, I'm done. He was a great, big, beautiful man. Blonde hair and blue eyes, big man. Thin, tall, and so he died. But it was devastating. I never cried so much in my life. I really kind of blacked out. I mean, when my husband, there's a lot of sketchy parts, but I remember just not remembering things. I did that this time, but really bad that time. And for 12 years, I did his grave. Nobody else. His wife came over once in a while. But it's just that, for me, it was like I wanted, it's like, you say don't have regrets. I learned a lot from that because there's things I should have said to him I didn't say. So that was kind of my own penance. I did that myself, and I liked gardening, so it wasn't a problem. But, every death was different for me. And that's that counseling I'm taking. So, everyone was different. And it had a lot to do with him and me being young. And his, having such a tragic life. It was really sad. Pretty sad. Everybody took it differently. Some people were like, he was an alcoholic, he was a bum. Well, like I said, he did work and stuff. Couldn't do a real job because of the Social Security number, but to me it was a disease, He wasn't a bad guy. Sad. He could never have any kids, so his girlfriend or wife, they had the one girl she had for her husband. That husband died in a fire. So she never had it real easy either, So just, some people don't get the luck, Don't know how fortunate you are, until you hear somebody else's story. So, I loved him. So I didn't care what other people thought. I have my small flat square brush, and I'm just kind of, there's like these little lighter blue spots. You can see them in here as I'm trying to get some of them. So how's it looking? It's looking alright. I'm going to, I think this, like, we need to bring some of this white over a little bit. So I'm gonna take the white and kind of just skim a little bit. Just a tad. I only got white in the brush, and I'm kind of dry brushing. It's a little bit dry. Just kind of feel like I need a little more white in here. I think this is too high, this edge right here too. So I'm going to kind of take this little piece right here and kind of blend it out a little bit, kind of do little circles here. But I got some good memories of him. We had some good parties and we had a lot of fun. We were babies, we were kids, we know what we were doing. A lot of good memories, you know. And some of his antique cars that he had redone, they're still around. There was a guy here, he owned a big dealership, he since died, Sam Dell. And all the cars that were, the last time they were done by my brother. So he was amazing. He was very picky about his work, you know, so something to be proud of, because it's not easy. Auto body, when they used to do all the steel body cars, it was, you know, it's a project. What's funny is I had a lot of uncles that had died young, and they were all the auto body side, because they're like part that did auto body. They all had their own garages and stuff, and some of them did the mechanics. But the ones that did the auto body, they didn't like have all these laws about, you know, the masks and all that. And a lot of them died, you know, young, maybe not as young as him. Like I said, my father's father died young, and he looked just like him, a German man. My father was like a Heinz 57. So I'm just kind of going copying where I see darks and lights here a little bit. A little dark right in here. That I put more of that brown than the blue right here. There's a little darkness here, we left that. So I think that's good. I think you guys would be able to work with it. I would love to see them if you guys finish any of them. And even if you only got a half finished, I want to see, maybe I can like troubleshoot for you, you know. That's how we'll know what we need to do. So even if you think it sucks, just kind of like, I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad anyways, but I can like give you some ideas about what you need to do. But that looks all right, you know. I got the wave's a little wilder than this one. Let me see. I might like, you know what you could do if I wanted to tone those down a little bit. Get that small square flat one again. Give me some of that. Make some of that blue and brown. And you could like see where this is a little too wild. You could go over it and like kind of trim it out a little bit. I got a little wild. There you go. Got a little wild. Yeah. So you can go in here and trim that out a little bit. Now if you want some splashes, you could take your big brush. This is always a fun thing in class. And then I take some white, a lot of water. And if you get a little color in there, the blue or something, it's not going to matter. And you can make it inky. Just kind of, you can either go like this, whoops, go like this, and you get a few splashes. It makes it fun, like it's coming right up in front of you. See, isn't that fun? There you go. And then you could take the small rigger, take some of that real thin white, and then just do a couple of lines like this, like it's coming out of the water. Or you could do your palette knife. So it looks like there's lines of water coming out. Looks pretty good, right? I can't really tell until I... Oh, shit. Come on, phone. All right. You turn around. It's pretty cool, right? I keep stupid thing. I keep rotating my... Yeah, I think I need to darken that brown a little bit. That brown is too light. A little umber in there, and it looked better. But see how I mean? Like you can take your and kind of walk away, and just take your camera. Kind of say, yeah, I think I'm gonna darken that corner up. I think that'll help you guys. Oh, the politics, you can't in my house. Especially when Trump was around. And I really don't have anything against, well, I don't like the man, but nobody did. But it's just, anybody that watches him, and even the people that like his stuff, know that he's full of it. They know. I mean, because I know in-laws that just love him. But they know, So, I gotta get up. This chair, I'm going to move over to the other side, guys. That chair is killing me. A mess in here. A mess. I've been busy. How's it look from here? Let's see how it looks from over here. It looks pretty cool. I like to show it off because eventually I'm going to... I don't know. As you know, I've been advertising, see if I can get people to sign up for a list. I'm not getting too many. So still might not be time to open up. You got to have enough people interested. I'm still audience building, they call it. So I'm still working on that. They say you have to have a clear of what you're doing, clear picture. But, you got to have the right audience too, And you got to keep them warm and interested, so I'm doing all this stuff. But I got like another woman that's going to be coaching me a little bit. I joined her creative business owners group. And she's worked under Heidi, and she's done really well. She started about a year before I did. So she's kind of coaching me a little bit. I'm in her creative group. She has a more advanced one. I don't know if I want to pay the money yet, but it's not too bad. Heidi's is very expensive. But she seems to be helping me. But I got to make sure there's the right group of people out there, So we shall see. But I think I think this is going to make the rounds. It's really a pretty painting, It's still there. I got to get to it. Life keeps happening, Well, I got the classes this on Thursday night, and no problem with any of it. And then I was down to one class. I'm doing 2 extra classes, and I'm throwing in extra stuff. And then I made a bunch of stuff at the last minute. I'm doing my taxes. He says he wants all this stuff down the warehouse. I'm like, well, shit. I did all that work again, and guess what? They didn't advertise. And I keep getting told, Diana, the restaurant's got it. They don't advertise. I do all the advertising. I said, I'm not spending a bunch of money anymore because they said I can do private party. Do most of my money that I'm making down there is private parties. So they need people on Tuesday night. So I went down there, I set everything up to all these classes for Tuesday night. I haven't got anybody. People, when I told them, I said, we were painting with a twist, we were closed on Tuesday nights. Most people are going to come out for a paint class Wednesday through Sunday. Sunday mornings, and you'll get kids during the day when they're off. Now, Kids Week, I set up 2 classes for $20. Cute little paintings, an alien and, I don't know, other thing. But, so I think that'll do real good. But this Tuesday thing, and if I only get one person, I'll cancel it. It isn't worth my time. And a lot of people are last minute, so I'm okay with that, but it's got to be the day before. I can't wait to the same day unless I got people. If I got 3, 4, 5, 6 people, I'll leave it right on there. And somebody wants to come in or walk in, fine. But I'm not going on there for one person. I always bring extra stuff. But, so he keeps promising me now, it's been a while, that, I got it in the budget now. It's in the budget. They gave me the money. It's in the budget. I'm like, whatever. I don't even believe it anymore. I said, I can still do private parties, right? So I put all this stuff down there for Tuesdays and haven't got one person yet. I do think that, and I advertise this, so I get those private parties. This has nothing to do with that place. But I'm being told if both of us do it, So that's another thing that I want to do. I got this place on my own. They have this, we call it the magic script, where you call or text a place to get the business from them. But like I said, we just opened not that long ago. We're still having issues here. I'm only supposed to do 10 people. That's the rules right now, They're just opening back up, So I'm going to eventually, I had gotten a hold of a few places. I'm going to try again to get a few, But I don't want a bunch. A couple a month is good. I'm old. I had to have the kids help me, and I got a special cart, and I got the owner helping me. I park in the invalid parking. I'm old. I have a ball, and down there the kids help me and stuff, the ones that work there and everything. But it's still a little bit of a job. Mostly it's just setting up stuff. I got that down to science. I bought these little cupcake kits. And I make up each little color. I put all the brushes in there. I put the directions right in there in case they get lost. And then I put a picture of it. And then I haven't had to use easels since I'm doing the smaller sizes. So I ain't got to drag them in. And then every pack has everything, including the apron, big apron. It fits. It's nice size. 9 cupcake holder. Big lid on the top of it. Everything goes in there. So I just put one on each table, roll out the paper towels, and then I bring like the prizes, a bucket to hold the water and the cups, and pretty much most of the canvases and stuff, they go, and a lot of that stuff is gone before I'm done, and then it's not as much to pack up, and usually there's somebody around to help me, and I always tip the staff that helps. Usually there's one item I'll tip them. I tip good, and then I give him $10 a head, so they make some money. They made 661 people, so like 2 classes I did. So they made $610, and then I tipped the people, which I don't even know if I can claim that. So I didn't. I didn't know if I could or not. I haven't even talked to her about that. I'm sure I could do something, Anyways, it's a little bit of a project. So like I said, I'm trying to work on this so I can do, classes online. And then, I'm getting older. So I love doing them. Talking to the people and everything. It's a lot of fun. I love it. Well, I gotta find a wine place. Well, it's I can order wine there or beer. Yeah, it's the same thing. Paint sips. It's got a paint party. Yeah, they're drinking and stuff. I'm painting them. If I wanted to do it in my home, I call up and ask if I need a DBA, doing business as. They said no, because you're not actually doing it at home, you're doing it other places. And he goes, on the other hand, if you start doing it in your house, he goes, that's another whole bowl of wax. You're going to need special insurance and this and that. He goes, if you do wine and liquor or anything like that, the other place we can only do wine and beer. Expensive. Now, this is New York State. It's like California. It's ridiculous. So, no. If I did it in my home once in a while, like we could do just friends and family, and that's it. But as far as the wine and sip and all that stuff, it's better to be in a bar because that's their responsibility. If I do like a at-home party, I have a waiver thing. They sign that. I got a contract. They sign that. If they do like a wedding or anything like that, I could do it at a venue anywhere they want, but I can't supply it, and it can't be in my home or on my premises because as it is, I don't have insurance right now. I only need like a basic insurance in case someone decides to swallow a brush or something. And it's not expensive. That's my next project, actually. But as far as the wine and stuff, I can't supply or have it with me when I'm doing it. They can do what they want if they're on their property. So, but yeah, they're drinking wine. They're having a ball. Yeah. I did 2 big parties. Christmas, one was for Wegmans, pharmacy people, the pharmacy group. There's like 7 or 8 of them. They had a riot. They were drinking, partying. It took me forever. I didn't ever get out of that place, which is normal. And then The other one was just a women's group. They asked me to join. I don't know if I ever got anything or not. I don't think I did. They got my information. It's a women's group. And it was like their staff party in the office of the women's group. So, yeah. So, yeah, they had a party. Yeah, drink. Fun. Sometimes it is better just to say nothing. I think that comes with age, though. It's like, why even bother? You know? I love my kids. Okay, I think we all love our children, but sometimes they don't get it. I always hear that saying about how, like, they won't know until they get there, and it's so true. There was a story this woman wrote many years ago. She wrote for the local newspaper, and she was quite old when she died. I think she was actually older when she started writing, if I remember right. And she had wrote in this article about thinking about her mother, and her mother lived to be quite old, which is fortunate. And she was talking about how it's really hard to explain to her children things that happen. It's hard to explain. But until they get there, but unfortunately it was a whole article, by the time they get there, that you've already gone. So then they're going to see, and I try to tell my kids, you're going to wish you had done this, and you're going to wish you had done that. You can call me an old bitch or whatever, but you're going to wish you had done it. And I was lucky that I was here to do it for my mother was out of her mind. Oh, but I was glad that I was here to do it for her, and I would do it all again. But, and my mother-in-law, too, she was sick at the same time. She died 2 weeks after my mother died. She had dementia. I think towards the very end she had Alzheimer's. But she had severe memory loss, and she told stories, and it should have been a sign. Some of the stories were pretty whacked. But she was bad, too, and she turns out she actually had anorexia nervosa. She didn't eat. She threw everything up. We didn't know that. Evidently, that happened sometime after me and my husband got married because the doctor told us. She called us up one day and he says, Mrs. Myers threw up. And we're like, yeah? She threw up. So I thought she meant like she had a cold. She goes, no. She threw up. The nurse caught her. I'm like, wait a minute. So evidently, that's how she stayed so thin. They had pictures of her. She was heavy when she was younger. So she hid that for years. So that had caused a lot of complications. It had a lot to do with how her mind went. But I never knew that. I knew the woman for 45 years, didn't know it. My husband was like, I don't know that either. Turns out the other brother and sister knew something about it, but it was the weirdest stuff that went on with her. And so I had her live here. We took turns in the winter living here. And I was the first one that caught on to what was going on. It's Christmas Eve in the hospital. She was out of her mind. So between the two of them, I was a basket case when it was all done. And then my daughter was down in New York. She had lost a baby, and she was having a baby at the same time. So it was like my daughter had the baby. I stayed with her the whole time. I made my son-in-law. I said, you don't understand. I want a minute by minute by minute by minute. But he was great. I said, I promise you, I only drive you crazy about every 10 minutes. And I would time it. I drove him crazy the whole night. And then I was a wreck. And then my mother died. We were there 24/7. 2 weeks later, she died on the 1st of May. The baby was born the 18th, 17th. And then my mother died the 1st. And then the 15th, my mother-in-law died. So, I'm lucky I didn't have a stroke. Oh, that's the way it is. It all comes at once. Don't you guys see? Isn't it like the way it is? It all like, it's just, it's not like one little thing. It's like it's all got to be just like piled on top of each other, Crazy, right? I got a beautiful baby girl out of that, though. The Lord giveth and Lord taketh away. When my brother died, my daughter was 26, and she got pregnant for Jacob. So it was like as soon as I was kind of coming out of what happened with him, so sad, I had Jacob. And they ended up later moving in here because, they got divorced. But it's like the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So sometimes you got to think about that and think positive, Because he's what a good baby. I had 3 kids and none of them was good as that kid. Because then, I'm the grandmother, so they're wonderful. Is she Jacqueline? I love that name. I spell it the traditional Jacqueline, which it's funny how I came up with her name. I had a little barber shop. Actually, I was a barber for a while, and I bought it from this guy. He died, and an old nun came in, and I gave her $5. She was selling the books, and she was just great for picking out names for babies. And number one, no one ever found the saint because I did a nun's hair. I did 2 nuns. The one, you want to hear a funny story? You guys want to crack up? I had this nun. I used to tell her dirty jokes. I didn't know she was a nun because they don't dress up like they used to. I mean, I told her filthy jokes. I mean, mine aren't that dirty, but they were pretty rough. And she would roll out of the chair, right? So this went on, I don't know how long. So finally someone said, that's what you call a sister. I said, I know. She says, but she's a nun. I said, nah. She So next time she comes in, I says, you nuns are bad girls. So, and I'm not Catholic. So I thought everybody was Catholic was like godlike. Well, those Catholics are big time sinners. Isn't it a funny story? It's such an idiot. Show off, And anyways, I forgot what the other story was about, but that one was a riot. She's since passed. Her sister, both of them are gone now, but they were so funny, But we did, I did a lot of those kind of people, and they were wonderful people. But I think the church took a real bad rap with all this stuff with the men. But the nurses, the nuns, a lot of them dropped out and became Eucharistic ministers. Because there was just so many problems in the church. It wasn't even just that. Like some of the priests were nuts. They were taking everything. They were thieves. The one took $300 from this one parishioner and took the money, had a gambling problem. And the church had to pay everybody back he borrowed money from. And they're all like 80-year-old women, and the one could call the cops on them. They were policing their own problems. That guy should have been in jail. I mean, he hit up like 40-year-old ladies for 40 old ladies for like a lot of money, and so we're gonna take it out of his retirement. That guy should. And then the last time I heard, he did it again, and they just moved him someplace else. They still had a problem with him. He had a gambling problem. You can't do that, So stuff like that was going on all the time. So it's just that there was a bunch of idiots running it. We had a bunch of people getting trouble. A lot of them. There was like, oh God, a whole bunch of. We have a lot of churches here, Catholics. A lot of Catholics here. We got Polish, Greek, Italian, and Irish. There's a church on every corner. Big, beautiful churches. Half of them are empty now. I know, it's true, right? Oh, my God. But I always knew they were a bunch of pervs anyways, I mean, a lot of them, you could tell there was something not right. We knew when I was growing up, nothing against Catholics. We were Protestants and Baptists. We didn't go all the time, but we went a lot more than most normal people. But I noticed, they used to talk about, when they sent a girl away for the summer, she probably was pregnant. Or if she never came back, she usually ended up being a nun. And then the other half, the males, usually were some kid you were in school with who was a little funny. Now, we didn't say gay or anything, but you knew that there was something not right, And a lot of them ended up going into, and you knew it had something to do with something they were doing. One used to walk around the neighborhood at night, and they'd pick him up in the middle of the night naked. He ended up becoming a priest. He had some kind of naked problem. In fact, even later, he came home to take care of his mother. They caught him again. He was in his 30s. He was naked on James Street. This is a huge street. I mean, stuff like that, people like that usually ended up going to, and everybody knew it, if they had some kind of issue like that. I can just imagine him moving to some city with all the priests and catching the priests, taking back, oh God, the stuff that must go on in those places, poor nuns. Right? Poor nuns. All right, Lori, you guys, so I'm hoping they let me into this Zoom meeting. I'm going to go on right now, see if they're going to let me in. Oops. Hold on, I just dropped my phone across the guys. They're underneath my shoes. See if I can get in a Zoom meeting. Okay, I get my laptop here. I don't know why they do this. Well, she's not actually here. She's down. Her mother, her family is. She lives in Texas, just outside of Fort Worth, I think. And her family is. What do I want? Do I want? I want Outer Limits. Her family is from Florida, and they were going to have a Outer Limits. They're going to have like a memorial, and then they're going to put her ashes into 222 into the ocean, I guess. So it must be legal. I know there's certain areas here we couldn't do that. He didn't really want that, but we're going to take some of them. We're going to take them up to our playlist camping spot. I'm not going to tell you where. Okay, so we get a peer-to-peer meeting. Should be right now. So we can still get in. Let's see. Zoom. Did I tell you about my last Zoom meeting? With the dog? Funny. They probably think I'm like some kind of cruel witch. All right, guys, so I'm on there. They're going to let me in. All right, you guys have a good night. I'll see you later on in the week. I'll be on off and on now that I can. I'm so glad those taxes. I hate it. I hate paperwork. We were talking about what would happen if we wanted to like make more money, you know, do more business. And there will come a point, and you can hire people to do that because, man, I hate it. I'm going to try to like once a month do all my paperwork. It's not even just the bills. It's lots of other stuff.
Recording in progress.
All right. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Thank you, guys. I'll see you later. All right. Bye.